What's up guys, welcome back, and in this video I'd like to add a quantity to our products. We're selling physical products here, so we need some sort of indication of how much stock is left in our inventory. So there are many ways to do this, but the way I'm going to do it is to have a stock indicator on the product page. So if I go to any one of these products, say camera 7, then I want some sort of stock indicator on here. So we can define a threshold, say 5, and if it's above 5, then it's in stock. If it's below 5, then it's low stock, and if it's 0, it's not available. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new migration and add a quantity column to our products table. So PHP artisan make migration add quantity to products table, and the table is products. Okay, let's go into our code and add quantity. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that. It's going to be table unsigned integer quantity, and I'm going to put it after the featured column, and by default we're going to have 10 in our inventory. And for the down method, let's just do the opposite. So table drop column quantity. Okay, let's migrate, see if that works. So I'm just going to try again with PHP artisan ecommerce install instead of PHP artisan migrate, because this should migrate it as well. See if this works. Okay, so that worked instead. Let's check our database to make sure we have that new quantity field. So products, and there it is. Cool. So now in our view, we want to show that stock indicator. So let me just go to our product view. So I believe it's product blade. Okay. And let's just put it underneath the description above the price. So somewhere here, right here. Let's just say in stock, just see how that looks. Okay, so that looks good. We'll make it look nicer later. So back to our code, let's put this as a variable. So I'm just gonna change this to a variable. Let's call it stock level. And we will go into our controller, which is shop controller, and we will pass that through here. So for now, let's just hard code it. So stock level in stock, and we'll pass that through right here. So stock level is stock level. See if that works. Okay, same result. Okay, so now we want to define that threshold to indicate whether if it's low stock or in stock. So we can put it in a config file within our code, but then an admin won't be able to change that if they want to change it. So a good place to put this would be at the database level, and we're using Voyager. So Voyager actually has a place to put in config options. So if I go to login, just log in here. If we go to, where is it? Settings, I believe. Yeah, settings. You You can see there's one for site-wide settings and there's one for admin. So let's just put it in this site-wide settings. So let me add one. Let's call it stock threshold. As you can see, I already have it there because I did it before. Let's call it stock_threshold. Just make it a text box. And just put it in site and add that setting. And now if we want to access this value in our code, we just use this code right here. And let's make sure we set it. So let's set it to 5. Save the settings. And that didn't work. How come that didn't work? Okay, so there seems to be a bug in Voyager where I can't save this. So unfortunately, I'm just going to do it manually and change the value to 5 here. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but I don't feel like upgrading Voyager to fix that. Apparently there is a fix for it in a later version, but I don't want to update Voyager right now, so we'll just leave this. We'll grab this again. So back to our code. So let's check what the quantity is. So if product quantity is greater than the threshold, then stock level is in stock. And for now, we'll just do low stock. Let's just see if this works. And save that. Let's go into our, this should be in stock. And now let's change it in our database. So camera 7, products, camera 7, right here. Change it to 5. So this should be low stock now. And there you go, it works. Let's add the 0 case in. So for this one, I'm going to do else if. So product quantity is less than or equal to the setting, and product quantity greater than 0. And then the else case should handle the 0 case. Stock level not available. Okay, see if that works. So this should still be low stock. Okay, change that to 0. This should be not available. Okay, and let's change it to 10. That should be available. In stock, I mean. Cool. Let's also hide this add to cart if the stock is 0. So let's change it to 0. And this should be hidden because you can't order something that's not available. So right here, right here. Let's just do if product quantity greater than 0. Rid of this and let's just put that in there. Cool. See if this works. Okay, it's gone. It's not available, but we have 1 left. Then it's back. Okay, cool. Okay, so I want this to look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to just steal the Bootstrap Badge Css and use that. So just this stuff over here. And here's the CSS for it. So I'm not using Bootstrap, but I just ripped out their CSS and I'm going to add it to my CSS. So right here, so CSS components, let's add a new one called badge.css. And I'm just going to paste it in. Again, this is just ripped straight from Bootstrap. The only difference was I changed font size to 100%. It was originally 75%. I just want it a bit bigger. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to make sure I add this to my app CSS. So right here, badge. And I am going to do a npm run dev to compile that down. Okay, back to our code. Now we can use that. So where's my controller? Right here. We can just put the classes in here. So let me just put this one in here. So this one would be badge warning for the orange one. And let me just close that out. And that should work for the orange case, for the low stock case. Oh, we have to escape it. I mean, not escape it. So let's go into product right here. And that's fine because it's not user input, so it should be fine. And we just hard refresh, and there we go. So I'm just going to do the other two. Okay, let's see if that works for all the cases. So let me just go here, change it to 10. That should be green. Okay. Let's go back here, change it to 0. And that should be red. Cool. Okay, this looks a bit messy to me. So I am going to extract this to a helper. So I'm going to do this. Stock level equals get stock level. And we're going to pass in the quantity. And we're going to grab all this. Cut that out. Save that. Go to our helpers. And let's make a new one down here called get stock level quantity. And I'm going to paste that in. And let's just do some formatting here. We don't want that. It's just a quantity. Okay. This should still work. Stock level. Okay, let's just return the stock level. And that should work. See if it still works. Oops. That should be $. Okay. Cool. Let's just do another check. 10. Cool. And 5. Awesome. Okay, so a few cases we have to handle here. If I'm going to change this to 1 right now, that should be fine. It should still show. But if we add it to our cart, there is this option to change how many we want to order. Now, if we only have 1 left and we try to order more, there should be a check for that, and it should not let you change the quantity. So right now there's no check, so we can add how many we like. So let's make sure we check for that. So let's go back into our code and let's go into our cart view. So cart.blade.php. And this is where all this stuff lives. And for each item, we also want to store the quantity available. So right now, we are storing this data ID, which we need to update the cart. So let's also store the quantity here. So let's make a new attribute called data product quantity. And let's set that as item model quantity. Okay. And down here, we can pass that through our request, and we can check for that in the backend. So right here, we're passing in the quantity which the user selects. So yeah, that might be a bit confusing. This quantity is whatever they select, but that other one is how many is actually left. So let me just grab that one as well. So be const product quantity equals, let me just grab this. Okay. This should be product quantity. And here we'll pass that through as well. Product quantity is product quantity. Okay. Now, if we go into our cart controller, here is where we're checking for that quantity. Right now, the only check is if it's between 1 and 5. And actually, let me just show you what's going on here. Let's just die and dump everything. So request all. Just to make sure you see what's going on here. And right now, camera 7 has what? 1. Okay, let's change that to 2. Okay, wait, did I change that? Okay, so it has 2. And we want to change 1. Let me just open up the console, make it bigger. And I changed it to 2. Actually, change it to 3. Yeah, so we want 3, but there's 2 left. Okay. What happened there? Yeah, it refreshed. Let me just go back to our JavaScript. And yeah, let's not refresh it when there's an error. Just for now. Let's try it again. Just refreshed. Let's go for 3. And there's the die and dump from our backend. So we requested 3, but there's only 2. So let's go ahead and check for that. Let's put this back. So it does refresh when there's an error. But let's fix this. Let's add the case. Just remove this actually. So let's add the case. So if request quantity, this is what the user is requesting, how many they want. If it's greater than what there actually is, product quantity, then there's an error, and we can just copy this, put that in here, and change the error message. Let's say we currently do not have enough items in stock. Okay, we're returning a 400, which I'm not sure what it is, but we'll just stick with that. And let's see if this works. Okay, so let's try 3. This should be an error. Cool. We currently do not have enough items in stock. If we try 2, that should work. Cool. Let's try 3 again. or 4. That should not work. Awesome. Okay, now let's actually decrement the quantity on the table once we have a successful order. So once we make it past here and proceed to checkout and fill in this information, we have to decrease the quantity based on how many the user ordered. So let's go back into our code. All of this stuff lives in checkout controller. And right here somewhere, we should decrease the quantity. So we have to do it for each item in the cart. So decrease the quantities of all the products in the cart. So I'm going to call a helper method that will implement decrease quantities. Just go ahead and implement that down here. Let me just grab. Okay. Let's do it down here. Let's call it decrease quantities. And it doesn't take any parameters. Let's just iterate over, what am I iterating over? The items of the cart. So cart content as item. So let's grab the product. Product find item model ID. And make sure I import this. Okay. Just move this up. Okay. And now we can just update that. So product update. So the quantity is what we're updating. And we want that to be the quantity, the current quantity, minus how many this user wants. So item quantity to get that QTY. And that should do it. I'm going to save that. And that's just an indentation issue. Okay. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Let me just remove. Okay, so we have camera 7. There's 2 of that. There's 2. Okay, so let's make it so there's 3. Let's go back to our cart. Okay, so 3, and we're going to order 2, and there should be 1 left. Just refresh this. Actually, let me just start from scratch to make sure everything's okay. Okay, so camera 7. There are 3 left. Let's order 2 of them. So cameras. Camera 7. Let's add to cart. Let's add 2 of them. Okay, let's proceed to checkout. I'm going to fill all of this out. And let's see if this works. Hopefully it works. And I have a syntax error. Cart content. And I'm going to have to do this again because the token is already used. Actually, if I just press back, this should work again. Let me just do this again. Okay, let's try this. Let's double check that it didn't decrease. Shouldn't have. Okay, it's still 3, and we're ordering 2. Try this again. And now I have another syntax error. Quantity has to be fillable. Okay, so for the product, I have to make a fillable. Protected fillable equals quantity. Okay, let's try that again. Press back one more time. Let's double check the database to make sure it's still 3. Still 3, okay. There you go. That went through the stripe. Let's see if this went down by 2. And it did. Cool. Okay, now let's handle the case where 2 or more people are trying to get the last item. So that can happen like this. So let's go back to camera 7 because there's only one left for that. Actually, let me log out. I'm actually logged in as admin. So back to cameras, camera 7. I'm going to add it to the cart, and if someone else comes in, let me just do this. And it's going to look pretty bad, but we'll stick with this. And if someone else comes in, and the quantity hasn't decreased yet because it hasn't been ordered yet. Where is cameras? 7. Okay. But we can run into that race condition. So we're going to have to check if there is still any items available right before we check out. So let me just show you it here. So this person put it in their cart first, but if someone else comes in and is faster, just continuous cast. And let me just fill this out. Faster 1. So this should work because there's still one item available. Okay. But now if you look in the database, there are no items left. So when this person tries to order, let me just fill this out real quick. Then this is going to result in an error because it's going to get to, where are we? Checkout controller. It's going to try to decrease. There's going to be 0. And then we're going to try to subtract 1. And that's going to result in -1. But in the database, it only allows for unsigned integers. So that will be an error. So let's try it. There you go. Out of range because it's -1. So how are we going to fix that? We just have to do a check right before we check out the user and check if the quantity is greater than 0. So right here, we have to check race condition when there are less items available to purchase. So all we have to do is, if we're going to make another helper, and let's call it products are no longer available. then we can just show an error message. I'm just going to grab it from here. Right here, paste that in. And let's just say, sorry, one of the items in your cart is no longer available. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement that. So products are no longer available. Grab that. Products are no longer available. So again, we're going to iterate. Let me just copy this actually. Over each item in the cart. And we're going to grab the product. Item, model, ID. Just move this up. And let's just check if product quantity is less than item quantity. So if the actual quantity is less than what this user is requesting, then we're going to return true. And otherwise, we return false. So let me just save that. So if this returns true, then this code does not get run and we just get an error. So that should fix that race condition. So let's try again. Let's go back. Actually, let's just start from scratch again. So for camera 7, I'm going to have 1. Let me just remove this. Start again. Start again. Okay, so same case. Camera 7. Add to cart. Shop. Camera 7. Add to cart. And this person is going to be faster. So this should work. This should work like normal. And it does, cool. This should be 0. Cool. But now this should error out when we try to check out. Okay, so this should just result in an error. There you go. Sorry, one of the items in your cart is no longer available. So we've successfully fixed that race condition. All right, one more thing I would like to check quickly is if we can see the quantity in the admin backend. Because sometimes as admins, we're going to want to manually change that. Let me just log in again. Products. Okay, it's not in here. Let's check it if it's in here. Okay, I don't see a section for quantity. Let's check out the bread actually. So database. Products, edit bread. Okay, I think we just have to save it again. There's quantity. And once we save it again, that should update it. Of course, there's an error. So yeah, another Voyager bug that I can't quite figure out, so I just manually added it to the database where it was trying to add it. So I just added this quantity field for in the data rows table, and the data type ID is for product. These are all the fields for product. So quantity is a number, and that's about it. And once I did that, then you can see the quantity in here. And if you try to edit it, let's go to camera 7. I think it's over here. Right here, you'll see that quantity is 0. And we can actually edit that if you like. Right here, change it to 2. And yeah, there's this other annoying bug where you have to put an image. Let's just do that. And this should update to quantity of 2. And it should be at the end here. Camera 7, quantity 2. So there you go. So there you have it, guys. We've managed to add a product quantity in our application so we can automatically keep stock information for each product. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.